We live in an age of degradation. Across the board, we can see things losing substance, depth, consonance, virtus. Prepackaged foods, prepackaged dreams, all advertised and made slick and shiny, but destined for the same sewer system, the same ever-growing garbage dump of modernity, discarded in favor of the next big thing. We live in an age of constant distraction, the thousand lights of illusion that never turn off, all vying and competing for our attention, everything infinitely more convenient and now and pleasurable than everything else. Entertainment is a god of the modern world, and so is ease, sometimes called luxury or comfort, that insidious convenience of everything on tap. Surrogate behaviors fill much of our waking hours, those things that are neither needful nor directly experienced, but activities mediated and moderated through the mediums of television or internet, professional sports, pornography, news, popular culture, and indoctrination through reality shows and top 20 music. We live in an age in which meaning or belief has not simply been lost, but one in which it is rejected outright. Believing in something is out of style, something for fanatics, madmen, outcasts, and pariahs from the towering glass structures of the world's shopping mall. These great cathedrals are the new pilgrimage. Belief is inconvenient, unpopular, decidedly uncool unless ironic or for now. Ugly, dirty, not politically correct, and possibly even some kind of ist or ism. It is looked on with suspicion, distaste, and oftentimes fear and anger. I am telling you, we must be these fanatics and madmen. We must wear the mantle of the outcast, the outlaw, and pariah, and we must do so with a terrible joy. We must live lives of inconvenient conviction, unpopular to the mass of shoppers and consumers, reinforcers of illusion, merchants of false hope and dreams. Not ironic, but sincere, with a fearless laughter born of a bold humor and clear vision that strikes deep at the heart of their lie. We will be hated, but only by those who have been conditioned to hate and by those who have done the conditioning. By strong men and women and spiritual outlaws and wanderers at the border, defiant ones and rebels, we will be loved. And we will be loved with a fury and ferocity that is a conquering force, invincible and holy as the smoke of our sacrificial fires rising to the heavens. We must be possessed of a towering and thunderous belief, a great red ocean, a roaring, fiery, zealous belief, unshakable, violent as a storm in the desert. And this belief will be in meaning itself. What we hunger and thirst for is meaning. We want to know that ours was a life lived for something, a greater truth, something more than the sum of its parts. We long for tribe, strong connections with our peer group and families by blood or oath. We crave a spiritual framework to sink our roots into that grows through every facet of our lives and enriches it and us. Because of these desires, we shackle ourselves to the awful responsibility of creation. Like Odin and his brothers, representations of consciousness and ecstasy and will, fashioning the world out of raw materials of potential and symbolism, or Lord Shiva performing the divine dance that represents the sacred act of the creative and destructive cycle, we must take it upon ourselves to build this framework. Our task is a holy one, the holiest, because we are the men and women at the end of this Iron Age, this Kali Yuga, who must rediscover the connections with divinity, and in drinking this ambrosia in the dark and hidden places of the world, we must carry it with us like a torch in the blackness. Our eyes must see things unknown to the mundane, and we must be initiated by wild holy men at great fires, held at sacrificial feasts in the woods, so that we can initiate others desirous of this way we walk. We must perform rituals daily of austerity and self-discipline, because it is hard and will make us so in turn. This holy task cannot be carried out by the weak in spirit nor the frail in body. It calls for complete humans who seek and attain strength in all realms of this existence: mental, physical, spiritual, temporal. These disciplines come in the form of exercising the mind and body through memorization, recitation, singing, writing, lifting, running, fighting, and more. The attainment of temporal strength by seeing it as a simple game of dice, leverage to be gained as one might in a board game, so that he no longer has to worry about or be confined by the rules of the game, but plays it his own way. But we must also perform the greater rituals, those that speak to us in a deep resonation with the ancient, as well as the present and future. rituals of fire and blood, of wildness and divine madness, rituals of oath and loyalty, honor and tribal passage. These great rites reinforce and empower our daily ones as each thing begins to be seen as part of something greater, and the monthly rituals feed the yearly ones, which in turn create layers of tribal experience, shared meaning and action weaving itself into a great tantra or system that becomes a growing, living organism unique to this new culture that we are building from the bones of the past, flowing with the blood of the present. We find meaning through doing and creating. It is not enough to be dreamers, all you men and women of strength, all you aspirants to this real and growing spiritual gang. We must be complete. We must be dreamers who can do, shamans who can travel into the other world and bring back action and direction to our chosen tribe. Creators, self-willed wielders of vision in one hand and deed in the other. Word must lead to deed. Deed must lead to another deed of increasing meaning and glory and importance. And this cult is real, and initiations have already begun. The Song of Wolves is being sung at the height of summer and in the cold of winter, and those making the change from man into wolf are called to join us in this funeral feast. The Kali Yuga is not a time for sorrow or lasting sadness, but for joy, and we will not fear to laugh while the world is ending.
Ganga, ja, de kuna sinner, sidan ajoissa